She let you go. Maybe she believed it was the right decision. Maybe she convinced herself she would find someone better. Or maybe, just maybe, she miscalculated the value you brought into her life. But here's the paradox no one wants to admit. While she may have let you go with her actions, she never truly released you from her mind. Your absence becomes a presence. Your silence becomes an echo. And your composure becomes the mirror she cannot escape. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why you still live in her thoughts. Long after she decided to walk away, we'll uncover the illusion she hides behind, the weight of regret she carries, and the unshakable power of stillness, when viewed through the lens of Stoicism. So don't just watch, listen. Because if you understand this truth, you'll never look at breakups, rejection, or loss the same way again. Hit that like button if you're ready for clarity. Subscribe if you value strength of mind over weakness of emotion. And let's dive in. 1. The illusion of freedom. At first, she convinces herself she's free. She tells herself she's free to explore, free to breathe, free to start over without the weight of the relationship. It feels liberating, at least in the beginning, like stepping out of a crowded room and inhaling fresh air. For the first time, she tells herself, "This is what I needed." But here's the uncomfortable truth. Freedom without direction isn't peace. It's emptiness. It's like being given the keys to a ship and setting sail with no compass. At first, the open horizon feels exhilarating, but soon the excitement turns to disorientation. The longer she drifts, the more the vast ocean feels like isolation. She thought independence would taste sweet, but slowly it becomes a bitter kind of silence. Nights once filled with conversation now echo with absence. The texts that once lit up her screen no longer arrive. She scrolls, waiting for a message that never comes, telling herself she's fine. Yet deep down she feels the hollowness grow. This is where Stoicism sheds light. Real freedom, the Stoics remind us, is never about cutting ties to escape responsibility. Real freedom is about self-mastery. It's the ability to remain whole, whether someone stays in your life or walks away. And while she may have let you go, you didn't lose yourself. You didn't chase, you didn't crumble. You stood firm, rooted in self-control. And here's the irony: the more she tries to prove she's free, the more she's haunted by your strength. She thought she was freeing herself, but in reality, she freed you. And it's your composure that lingers in her mind, far louder than her supposed liberation. 2. The echo of absence. Your absence isn't nothing. It's an echo at first. She interprets your silence as indifference. She tells herself he's finally moved on. Good, but silence has a way of amplifying itself. Every quiet morning without your good morning text. Every night she climbs into bed without hearing your voice. Every weekend she spends without your presence. Each of those moments doesn't just pass. It bounces back like an echo in an empty room. She doesn't realize it immediately. But silence can be louder than words. It presses in at the moment she least expects. She wakes up, checks her phone, sees nothing, and suddenly that silence feels heavier than noise. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Silence is a form of wisdom." And that's exactly what your silence has become. By not chasing, by not explaining yourself, by not begging for recognition, you allowed silence to do what words never could. She can ignore a text, she can dismiss a call. But silence is unshakable, it cannot be argued with. It forces her to reflect, and the longer it lasts, the more it reminds her of the stability you brought, compared to the instability she feels now. She thought your absence would mean emptiness. Instead, it became a mirror reflecting her own choices. And in that mirror, she sees what she lost and what she cannot easily replace. 3. The mirror of comparison. Every man she meets after you becomes a mirror. She may not admit it. She may even swear to herself that she's moved on. But the truth is this: her mind places every man against the silent standard you set. And most of them don't measure up. Why? Because a man grounded in discipline, composure and self-respect is rare. Imagine she meets someone new. He tries too hard, too many compliments, too eager for validation, too desperate for her attention. At first it might feel flattering, but soon she sees the cracks. She remembers how you never folded that way, how you didn't beg for validation, how you carried yourself with quiet strength. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That mastery is what made you stand out. And now, even as she entertains others, she realizes they lack something she once had with you: composure, patience, confidence, rooted in more than appearances. The irony: she thought letting you go would clear the way for someone better. Instead, every new comparison only reinforces the imprint you left behind. 4. The weight of what if. Sooner or later, pride can't protect her from the whispers of regret. What if I stayed? What if I misjudged him? What if I walked away from something rare? At first, she brushes these questions aside. But the longer your silence holds, the louder those whispers grow. Regret doesn't come from what we did. It comes from what we didn't do. And because you didn't chase, because you didn't fall apart, because you didn't give her the narrative she expected, she's left wondering. The Stoics remind us it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. She judged leaving you as liberation, but now that judgment haunts her, because while she could control the choice, she cannot control the regret. You, on the other hand, remain free because your strength never depended on her staying. 5. The shock of your stillness. She expected drama, she expected noise, anger, pleading, a last attempt to win her back. That's the script she thought she knew. But instead she got something far more unsettling. Your stillness, no begging, no arguments, no attempts to prove your worth. Just composure, and that shakes her far more than anger ever could. Because while anger fades, stillness lingers. She replays those last moments in her head, realizing you didn't lose control. You didn't need her to validate who you were. That kind of strength rewrites the entire story. Suddenly, she's not the one who let you go. You're the one who let her walk away without resistance. And that unsettles her because deep down, she knows it means you didn't need her to stand tall. 6. The curiosity that burns. Time passes, and with it comes curiosity. At first, she told herself, "I don't care what he's doing." But silence breeds mystery, and mystery breeds curiosity. She wonders, what are you doing now? Are you happier without her? Have you found someone new? The more you remain composed and focused on growth, the more restless her curiosity becomes. Because the man she thought she knew, predictable, accessible, is no longer there. You've become a mystery again, and nothing fuels attraction more than the unknown. 7. The mask she can't hold to the world. She looks strong, smiling pictures, laughter with friends, the performance of moving on. But masks grow heavy with time. When the crowd is gone and the lights are dim, that mask cracks. She can fool others, but she cannot fool herself. That's when the silence stings the most. You, on the other hand, don't wear a mask. Your peace isn't performance. It's real. And that contrast makes your presence linger even more powerfully in her thoughts. 8. The unfinished chapter. She thought your story together ended when she walked away. But some chapters don't close neatly. Every song, every place, every memory tied to you reminds her this story doesn't feel finished. And here's the truth. She doesn't get closure because closure doesn't come from another person. It comes from within, and you've already moved forward. You didn't wait for her to explain herself. You didn't wait for permission to heal. You turned the page without needing her validation. And that's what unsettles her most. Because in her mind the chapter lingers. But in yours the book has already continued. Closing reflection. So let's return to the truth we began with. She let you go, but she never truly let you leave her mind. Your absence became presence. Your silence became echo. Your composure became the standard she can't escape. And the irony is this. She thought she was freeing herself from you, but in reality, she freed you to grow. Stronger, while she remained bound to the memories of what she lost. That's the power of Stoicism. Not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. Not in chasing closure, but in creating peace within. So remember this, brother. You don't need to prove yourself to the one who left. You don't need to chase someone who chose to walk away. You stand firm, you stand steady. And in doing so, you become unforgettable. If this message resonated, type below, I stand firm. Not for her, but for you. Because in the end, the strongest man is the one who remains unshaken.